Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much. Yes, as I said, Ramadan is coming around. We all must be, starting the preparations of, what to do, what to plan, and all these things. Amongst all these plannings, sometimes, when it comes to your health, the lifestyle habits, this is something which we sometimes tend to ignore or disregard. It might be unintentional, but we do definitely do that. So today we're going to talk about things which can be done in a healthy manner, which will make sure that you go through the Ramadan month from the spiritual aspect, but you also take care of yourself in the physical aspect. So we're going to talk about Ramadan and the diet that you're supposed to follow during Ramadan. So Ramadan is definitely a holy month for Muslims. It's the ninth month in Islamic calendar. The fast usually lasts between 29 to 30 days. And it is one of the longest period of fasting. So when you're talking about fasting, it's more of the spiritual aspect, and a lot of us have this desire that we want to participate in fasting. We want to do fasting irrespective of the health conditions, situations. We do want to participate in fasting because that's what makes us spiritually much better and peaceful. So along with the spiritual aspect, Ramadan can also be taken up as an opportunity to bringing some balance in the lifestyle in terms of eating habits, exercise, sleeping habits, and so on and so forth. So we need to take this opportunity and focus not only on the spiritual aspect, but also the physical aspect, which actually makes us complete as a whole. Now, when you're talking about Ramadan, yes, fasting will help you to manage your eating has habits, because there's a discipline that automatically comes. You have specific timings, you do your prayers, you are spending time with family, all these things. However, if you're not doing fasting properly, because fasting is not just an aspect that, okay, it's Ramadan, so you just have to fast. You have to do the fasting in such a way that it is helping you more rather than, harming you, either in the present situation, that is during the month of Ramadan, or later after Ramadan finishes as well. So when you're talking about Ramadan, why eating habit needs to be taken care of, why it's important that you have to have a balance and discipline in your lifestyle is during fasting, automatically our metabolism, that is the capacity of your body to burn the calories, is going down, and your food intake is also going down to a certain extent. However, even if the food intake is low, but if it is sufficiently balanced enough, you'll ensure that you still make sure you are strong enough, you don't feel tired, there are no side effects like headaches, sleepless events, or no, none of these things are happening. So for that to happen, it's the same aspect that you do during the non-Ramadan situation, that is having a balanced eating habits, include all the variety of the food groups that is there, like healthy grains, beans, vegetables, fruits, proteins, so that the Ramadan, what you're following, is helping you healthily as well. Few of the important points to remember. So this is basically for a lot of people who might be having any medical conditions. Yes, if your doctor agrees that you can fast, you are able to manage your medications and your meal timings accordingly, then you can do that. But if you have to do that, you have to make sure that before Ramadan starts, make sure you talk to your doctor, make all the adjustments that you're supposed to do. In fact, sometimes I even recommend a few of my patients to, start doing 1 or 2 days of fasting before Ramadan starts, for you to understand and get adjusted to when the Ramadan starts. So that's something which would be a good, start when the Ramadan starts. Now, then the next question comes is, what do you eat, for suhoor? What do you eat for iftar? Now, when you're talking about breaking the fast, when you're talking about suhoor, it's just about filling up your stomach. After fasting hours, we are so hungry that sometimes we don't judge ourselves properly. We don't take decisions properly because we just want to eat. And specifically with all the delicacies that is there, with you're meeting family, friends, it comes as a group together. So food, sometimes the decision of making the right choice sometimes is disregarded. So this is what we need to take care of, the proper decision or the healthy choices. So when it comes to suhoor, now suhoor is the time, the early morning, when you're going to, start your fasting period. We need to understand that the entire day you're going to be fasting. You're not going to have anything to drink. You're not going to anything to eat. So Suhoor time should be the time when you do not engage in anything which is very sugary, which will be used up faster by your body. The more no healthier choices, like few examples would be whole grains, like whole grain bread, whole grain rice, or it can be oatmeal, these kind of things with lots of protein like eggs or something like that. It can be a bowl of fruits. So these can be the options, because when you're having these options, they are digested and maintained much more slower than when you're having simple sugars. So at least the first half of the day, your body still has the food to take care of your energy requirements, your hydration level, and so that you technically your body is fasting for a very small period of time when you're following this kind of a step. So it's very important. A lot of them have that, they'll just have a glass of juice, they'll have something sugary, they'll just have lots of sugary foods, and that's how they start their fasting. However, when that happens, you get dehydrated very fast, you start feeling tired very fast, because these are used up, let's say, within first 2-3 hours of your day. So including whole grain versions, including fruits and vegetables, this would be much more ideal. So few examples you can have a whole grain sandwich with some vegetables and chicken stuffing in that, or eggs and toast can be an option. Oatmeal with fruits can be an option. A glass of milk with some nuts, these can be an options. So this is something which is filling you up. It's not too overwhelming for digestion, and it is sustainable for a longer period of your fasting time. So that's how you need to do. Plus, you need to make sure that you're drinking lots and lots of water, so that you're well hydrated throughout the day. So that's, and try not having caffeinated beverages in the early morning. What happens is when you are having too much of caffeine, you do urinate very frequently. So with that, your water is going out, you're losing a lot of minerals. So you tend to get dehydrated sooner than what it would have been if you're just hydrating yourself with regular water. So that's the reason why make sure that you don't have too much of caffeinated beverages. For hot beverages, you can always have, let's say, herbal teas, decaffeinated coffee. So people who are like really high in coffee, they really want to start their day with a coffee. Not a regular option, but let's say now and then you can have a cup of decaffeinated coffee. But preferably, the first option would always be at least a liter of water, which would be advisable. Now, as I said, avoid caffeine. Now, then comes iftar time. So you have fasted the entire day, your water content of your body is gone down, you have used up all the energy that you would have gotten from the suhoor that you have eaten. Then comes, so by the end of the fasting period, or when you're about to start your iftar period, you are dehydrated, nutritionally you are on low, your energy is low. So this is the time we feel more tempted to have whatever you get it, whatever you just have. And this is the time when the delicacies are there, the fried items, the oily foods, the pakoras, the unhealthy foods is something more of carbohydrate, more of fat. These are the things which we see that is more on the table. Now, when you're doing that, what is happening is, you might feel full physically. Your satiety might be fine, but later on, slowly it starts leading to indigestion. You start having headaches. You are not getting that energy that you're supposed to get. So it's very important that when you start in a situation where you're going to break your fast, you have to have proper healthy choices, and that's very easy to maintain. It's just a matter of practice. It's just a matter of you start doing it, and then eventually it just falls in place. So when you're doing iftar, as I said, healthy, balanced diet. You have to include all the food groups. Yes, we do understand that, there is very little time, the non-fasting period. And then, how can I have so many meals? I'll give you a few examples at the end, but it's not about filling your stomach with big meals. It's about how balance you can keep throughout the non-fasting period that is there. So it's very important that you have to have a combination of all the food groups. Yes, so it's not just the religious aspect that you have to break your fast with dates, but it also has some medical benefits. Dates is something which has some electrolytes. It kind of gives you that instant natural sugar for energy. The water that you have lost, dates helps you to overcome that right at the beginning. So yes, it is something which you can use as no breaking your fast. However, it is not. It should not be followed up with all the fried items and the high carbohydrate, refined carbohydrate food items. So the first thing, as I said, start off with your breaking your fast with dates and of course water. You remember that you have been dehydrated for a few hours, so it's very important that you start your um, food first hydrating yourself along with dates. Break your fast slowly. So the few examples that I say is, no, break your fast with dates, have a glass of water, that you have a small, a prayer time that you do. After that, immediately getting into the main meals, start hydrating and refreshing yourself. That can be a bowl of soups, it can be a bowl of salad, it can be a bowl of fruit. You actually would start feeling much fresh, your digestion gets much better, and you can enjoy better foods when you actually start this, step by step, no, breaking your fast. What happens when you overeat or when you're not eating the right way? Yes, entire day your stomach has been empty, you have not had anything, you are dehydrated, and then suddenly you're going to have all the fatty foods, oily foods, fried foods. That leads to indigestion, can cause stomach pain, bloating. So these are, and that can further affect your sleep. It can cause headaches, migraines. You start feeling nauseated. So to prevent all these things, going slow is the motto. Now, let's say you broke your fast, you had a bowl of salad or something like that. Yes, you will feel a little full because it contains fiber. However, you can always take breaks. It's not mandate that you're supposed to have only 2 meals. You can, of course, have 3 to 4 meals. You just have to have small meals and break like 15-20 minutes break. When you're having a bowl of soup or a salad, after half an hour, you will be able to have your normal meals. So it's just a matter of giving time to yourself and your body also. Entire day it has not eaten anything. So you cannot expect the food to be consumed and digested better if you're going to have it in one go. So having this break is very important. Now, along with food, hydration is very important. Again, dehydration is likely to happen. So you have to make sure that over the period of after your iftar time, before the suhoor time, you have to have at least 8 glasses of water. The more you drink, the much better. The more you drink, the more you're urinating, the more you're flushing out the toxins from your body. And the water that you drink during your suhoor time is helping you throughout the day as well. It's very important that you have to drink lots of water. Next comes is, how is it possible to make sure that you don't feel too thirsty during the daytime? And that's making sure that you do not have anything which is processed, which has a lot of no salt in the food. The more salty foods you have, the more spicy foods you have, the more thirsty you feel. And the more tired you feel, because you cannot have water during the fasting period. So by the iftar time, you are very tired, very exhausted, and you are not in a situation to just, have a proper judgment over what food you should start off with and what you should not. So you end up overeating, frequent unhealthy snacking that you do. So to prevent all these situations, it's very important that you avoid unnecessary thirst, and that is by avoiding all the processed foods and the salty foods. Now, when you're talking about different food groups, as you can see, you have different food groups. Carbohydrates gives you the energy, the calories, the B complex, or the fruits and vegetables will give you the vitamins and minerals to keep your body fresh, the dairy products, the meat and poultry, sugar and oils, which includes the healthier versions, not the unhealthier versions. So this is how your plate or your meals should look like. Now, when you're talking about healthy food choices, so instead of deep fried foods, go for something which is baked, grilled, steamed. Yeah, air frying is one of the options now and then you can use, so that you do feel that concept of having something as a fried chicken or a fried piece of a food. But deep fried foods, oily foods, they take a long time to get digested. Digestive system is very sensitive after the fasting period, so not to have no fried foods. Sweets, yes, sweets is something which is a part of the no regimen ritual during iftar time. It's It's not the problem with having sweets, it's the problem of what type of sweets you have. Having too much of sugary sweets, which has a lot of oil and sugar, refined sugar in that, might make you feel indigested and nauseated. So having that is something which we don't recommend. You can have milk-based sweets, you can have fruit-based sweets, dates-based sweets. These are the natural sweetness that is there. So you can have these kind of sweets in moderation, which is, in a healthy version as well. And as I said, any food that you have, try not cooking it in a very oily versions, having too much of grease in that, like too much of oil, butter, margarine, these kind of things. More of grilled items like kebabs, tandoors, the regular foods that you make would be much more beneficial. In terms of method of cooking, instead of deep frying, as I said, yes, air frying is something which you can opt for if you really want a fried product. Shallow frying is something which you can do, like sometimes if you want to have these kind of, like a nugget, homemade nugget bases or some patties or something like that. Steam it a little and then you can shallow fry it. So it gives the crispy feeling. You don't have to use a lot of oil. And that's something which is much more beneficial than having deep frying options. Instead of frying, you can use other options like grilling, baking, steaming, roasting, all these things. Gravies, see, it's not a problem with having the gravy based food. It's the problem with how much oil you add to make the gravy. So making it very oily is something which we don't recommend. You want to make it as a curry basis. You can use the tomato base. You can use the onion base. So these are the different bases that you can use rather than using a lot of oil to make the gravies. So these are the different methods of cooking that would be advisable to ensure that you're still enjoying the foods and the delicacies, but you're being, healthy about it as well. As I said about the salty foods, that same applies for the sugary foods. We do get tempted to have sugary foods because that's how the body craves for when it's fasting for the entire day. It needs instant energy. So the temptation and craving towards sugary foods is always higher. However, it's very important that you try to refrain yourself from that. As I said, go for the natural sweet products rather than going for the sugary foods, because that's definitely going to affect your digestion. It's going to make you feel nauseated. It'll make you feel, instead of giving you that instant energy and maintaining that energy, it will make you very tired and exhausted later on because it's used up faster. So that's just going to make you more tired and exhausted rather than making you feel fresh. So it's very important that you have to avoid the sugary and salty foods. Now, avoid coffee, as I already said. So how do you divide your meals? So one of the protocol that I usually follow is break your fast with dates and lots of water, do your prayers, and then you can start off your meal with some salad, some fruits, some juice. It can be a fresh juice as well. It can be vegetable juice, these kind of things. And after like half an hour, you can actually have a proper meal. This meal can be stacked with some good protein. It can be some grilled meats, some kebabs, like chicken, fish, eggs. It can be some amount of meat as well. Do include vegetables during that time. It can be as a salad. It can be as a cooked like a saluna, or any of the cooked method can be used. And when it comes to carbohydrates, yes, you can have your naans and your breads and all those things, but go more for the whole grain versions. So this will help you to feel full, feel satisfied that you have had a good meal, but it is something which is not affecting your digestion, so that you don't feel worse after your meals, like let's say after 1 or 2 hours. So this is how you can divide your meals throughout the evening, and then your suhoor time. So what is happening is you're still able to cover up all your important food ingredients. You're dividing your meals so that the digestion is also taken care of. And with these things, you can still enjoy, with your family, with your friends, you can still enjoy these kind of, delicacies. So along with that comes exercise. So yes, exercise is something which we do recommend has to be reduced in case if you're into intense workouts. Basic exercise, definitely we advise to do it purely from helping with the digestion, the bowel system. And stress wise also, exercise helps you to release endorphins, which is a happy chemical that's making sure that it's not affecting your metabolism. So you can do exercise, as I said, but however, try not having to intense workouts. A simple walk, a simple jog, it can be some yoga that you want to, some meditation that you want to do. These are certain things which you can do, which will make sure that you still have continue regime of exercise, but it's helping you rather than making you more tired. Smoking. So there are a lot of situations where smoking, in general, we don't recommend smoking, but during Ramadan, and this is the time when we are more motivated to, not smoke. So take this as a time when you avoid smoking. And from the clinical aspect, when you're smoking, it makes your mouth very dry. It makes you more thirsty. So it's much better option to, cut down on your smoking. Again, try these things before Ramadan starts, so that you are much prepared when Ramadan actually starts. So quick tips. Always remember, your suhoor should be a whole meal version rather than refined sugary version. Your iftar, try dividing into small frequent meals. You can break your fast with dates, have lots of water. Make sure you stay away from caffeinated beverages. Do some walking here and there, so that will help you with your digestion. And in terms of any medication or medical condition, make sure that your health professional, your doctor, is well aware that you're going to fast. You're well prepared with your medications, time regime. So this will help you to actually give yourself completely in terms of spiritual, physical, psychological, social situations as well. And that would be a much more healthy Ramadan, that we would say. So this is what the summary I would talk about diet and lifestyle during Ramadan is. So if anyone has any questions, can answer them.
Shula, we have one question.
Yes.
Yes. So I think you touched upon the aspect of exercise on the presentation as well. So there's a question, can you give an example of food to eat in iftar if you are going to work out after 2 hours prayer late night?
Okay, so the application is the same for workouts when you're doing in the non-Ramadan time as well. We always recommend to have lots of protein before and after exercise as well. However, we do recommend to have a little natural sugar or energy in terms of pre-workouts. So it can be a glass of smoothie with some yogurt, some fruits, or it can be some nuts with a glass of juice. So this will give you, it's still giving you the sugar, but it's a natural sugar, but that's giving you the instant energy. Because specifically, if you're going to do workouts late in the evening, you have still not reached up to the nutritional requirements that your body needs because of the fasting hours. So this will ensure that you do get your instant energy, and the protein is going to maintain your muscle mass. And post exercise as well, when you have good protein in your diet, there are a lot of protein shakes which you can use. Few of the ones which I would recommend would be the Bene protein. It can be Ensure Max protein. It can be, so even in markets, we have certain brands of the regular dairy products which has high protein versions, which is low in fat. So as a quick fix, that's something which is still better than involving yourself in something which is very unhealthy, sugary. So that's how the regimen would be. And that's provided you make sure that your meals have been divided and you are doing your exercise. There is a gap of at least 1.5 hours between your meals and your exercise. So that's what I would recommend.
Thanks, Sheila. So there's another question. So you spoke about dividing the 3 meals into 2 meals and how you can accommodate that into your schedule. So is dinner really important, or can someone skip dinner after having heavy iftar?
Sorry, I couldn't hear you. Your voice was breaking.
Sorry. So can someone skip dinner after having a heavy iftar? Is that recommended?
Okay, so one regimen. So this is based on the prayer schedules that you all usually have. What I have tried, planning up with my patients is the moment you break fast, you break it with dates and lots of water. You have the small prayers that you all do. After that, you can have some salads and some fruit, something which is refreshing like soup and all those things. Then you can take a 30 minutes break. and the next meal that you can have is purely more of protein and vegetables, then so that will ensure that it's not very heavy, but you're ready for, let's say you want to do some exercise or something like that, and you do your exercise and then you have the long prayers that you do. So after that you can definitely have a regular dinner, which is again a much more healthy balanced meal. However, if this regime is not possible, or if you end up having your regular meal before the long prayers, it's okay if even if you skip your dinner completely, you can just have a bowl of some protein soup or some nuts or something like that, and keep on drinking water during the night time. So that would be fine.
Perfect. So there's another question. How should I plan my iftar if I miss suhoor?
How should I
Plan my iftar. Is there a difference to be made for the iftar if someone missed their suhoor meal, for example?
see if So the first I would start is don't try not missing your suhoor.
Yeah.
At least, like, okay, sometimes it happens. You sometimes end up waking a little late. Let's say it's too near to the azan time. So probably that's the reason why you mess up. At least have a glass of milk or a glass of yogurt with some nuts. So that's something which you can do quick. That is in case if you know you are in a situation where you might miss your suhoor. But irrespective, if you're missing your suhoor, this step would still continue. Hydration would be the main during that time, because when you're refreshed, that's when you can plan your food properly. And if that is a thing, so because we need to make sure that you still cover up your regular nutritional requirements that you would need even in your general requirements. And that's basically more focusing on protein, vegetables, and fruits. So if you do miss your suhoor, what you can do to compensate a little is you can have one extra meal a little later in the evening, where it's just protein and vegetables, where so you're able to cover up some amount of your nutritional requirements without feeling that you're overeating. But as I said, try not missing your suhoor. That's very important.
Yeah. We have another question. Does sleep affect hydration?
Does
Sleep affect hydration?
absolutely. See, you're talking about if you're sleeping less.
I'm assuming so. It's on the
So sleep, actually, it's not just affecting hydration, it overall affects your system. What happens is when you are not getting good sleep, and it's not the quantity of the sleep, you can get a good sleep even with 4 to 5 hours, up to 6 hours. It's not just the quantity of the sleep. When you're not getting a good quality of the sleep, there are a lot of hormonal changes happening in the body, which starts affecting your hunger hormone, where it is getting increased. It starts increasing your satiety hormone. So what is happening is you end up snacking a lot, and in that you sometimes end up forgetting to drink water. That again leads to dehydration. So sleep, it's not that it is going to make you forget to drink water or reduce your water intake, but all these things then follow path by path, and finally it starts affecting your water intake. Because first of all, you have very small period of the non-fasting time. It's not that, okay, the entire over the entire night you're going to sit and eat. You need your sleep as well. So when you have a very small period of time, and with these irregularities happening in the hormones because of lack of sleep, you're more concentrated on eating foods. So you tend to, forget in terms of drinking water. And that sometimes leads to dehydration. Of course, if you're not hydrated well, whatever food you're eating is not getting it digested well. So that's further going to cause more issues.
I think okay. The question is on sleeping more. Is sleeping more will sleeping more affect your hydration?
Sleeping more. So I need to understand, you are asking sleeping more will lead to drinking more or drinking less? Because it doesn't have a direct connection. Sleeping more or sleeping less doesn't have a direct connection to the hydration. That's what I explained, that it affects your hormonal changes in terms of your hunger hormone and your satiety hormone. So when you don't have enough time, so even if you sleep less, it's affecting. Even if you're going to sleep more, time limitation, you're just constantly more on eating. So of course you're going to forget about water. So that's going to affect your hydration. So indirectly it does have an impact. Directly it doesn't have an impact.
Okay, understood. And I think we have pretty specific and very relatable question. So what are some easy meals a bachelor who works can make during suhoor, which will provide energy and are healthy at the same time?
Sorry, can you repeat the question?
Sure. What are some easy meals a bachelor who works can make during suhoor, which will provide energy and are healthy at the same time?
So as bachelors, one could be the oatmeal where you add some berries with some low fat milk or yogurt. That's something which you don't have to cook and prepare. You can just combine it, everything together. One can be sandwiches. You can, so whatever leftover proteins you have from your iftar, that's something which lot of my patients use it as a stuffing for. So if there is any chicken kebabs or something like that, that can be used with some lettuce and some cherry tomato. So these are things which you don't have to what we say cut and cook and all those things, but you can just make it as a sandwich and you can have it. The whole grain cereals with some nuts, some seeds, and some what we say low fat milk is something which you can add. So that's a quick thing. If there are homemade parathas from previous night, that is a homemade parathas which does not have a lot of oil and it's made out of the whole wheat version. You can make wraps out of it, or you do get these healthier whole grain tortilla breads outside. So that again you can stuff it either with the low salty cheese and lots of vegetables, or it can be some boiled eggs, or it can be some egg omelette that you're making, or some just a regular sunny side up egg. So that can be as a stuffing for tortillas. So these can be few things that you can opt for, where you don't have to do a lot of cooking, and these are very quick to be done. And of course, fruits and nuts can be a common thing. Yogurt can be common with you. So these can be some options. Thank you, Rizvi. Thank you. Have a good day.
Have a good day, everyone. Thank you for joining. Bye.